We bring in from the Texas Tribune, and they're not writing about Wonder Woman over at the Texas Tribune. No, they're focusing on still what's happening with our Texas lawmakers and those running around the state trying to run for office. It's Patrick Svitek. Patrick, hey, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for joining us today. Yeah.
I thought we were done.
Let's see. I guess we're in special session watch mode right now. Is that right?
Yeah, we are in total special session watch mode right now. I think the governor had said earlier this week that he could make a decision about whether he would call one, quote unquote, later this week. It's Friday, and there's still no immediate sign that he's going to be making an announcement, and so we continue to just wait and watch at this point.
Is there, I guess the feeling is he is going to call one, though, right?
You know, I think that is the feeling. That was definitely what lawmakers were expecting in the final days of the session. Now, we are now kind of getting several days removed from the session. I think tempers have calmed down a little bit. Some people are putting these issues in perspective. I don't know, how the governor is viewing them at this point. But I think the conventional wisdom is still that he is going to call one, but there's just a lot of mystery surrounding what agenda he's going to set for it, what items he's going to put on the call, and also the timing of it, whether he's going to call it immediately after the veto period, which would be later in June or in July, or whether he's going to wait several months or even as late as next year.
Very interesting. What about the lieutenant governor? It sounds like he's made some comments recently where I don't want to say he's backed off of the bathroom bill, but maybe even he sees that the governor may not want to go there. Have you gotten that feeling?
Well, what I can say is he's done a number of media appearances since the end of session, all across the state, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio, and he has continued to make clear that he views the bathroom issue and property taxes as a priority. But at least in the interviews that I've seen, he seems to be playing up the property tax issue a little more than the bathroom issue. I don't know how much to read into that, but he's definitely emphasizing it more, at least to my ear.
Do you think in the interviews that he's given, he's not putting this issue of he versus the House Speaker aside? I mean, it seems like he's going fully after the House Speaker right now. Is this campaign mode for the lieutenant governor, or what's the angle, you think?
I think it is campaign mode in some ways, but I think it's just also kind of very aggressive post-session spin. I think he's making very clear to the voters and to the public that the dysfunction that they may have heard about in Austin toward the end was, allegedly due to the House. I think he's just trying to get that narrative cemented in, and I think it also doesn't hurt for that narrative to be, kind of booming out of the speaker as Greg Abbott sits here in Austin and makes his decision about whether to call a special session. So I think it serves a number of purposes.
Very interesting. Real quickly, the final day of the session, there was a tussle, if you will,
right.
A disagreement on the House floor. I know that that issue has kind of continued a little bit as we're trying to figure out what was said, who said what, and if anyone actually called ICE. Apparently, Rinaldi did call ICE after some more investigation. You had immigration come out and say, yeah, somebody did call us. What's the latest on that? Is this maybe kind of going away as an issue?
As an immediate news item, I think it's calming down a little bit. Rinaldi did kind of break his silence and do a round of state, local, and national TV interviews yesterday. I don't think he necessarily added too much more to the narrative or to the kind of the sequence of events that we had all already known about. But I think there's no doubt though that you're going to see this reverberate in the coming weeks and months and years. As I think a number of people have pointed out, his district was already one that was being targeted by Democrats. I imagine this issue kind of only adds to their resolve and momentum to unseat him in 2018. And just generally, I think it adds to a kind of post-session environment in which you definitely saw some personal relationships on the House floor get really bruised, and I guess it remains to be seen how permanent that damage is going to be. But that seems to be the theme coming out of this on an interpersonal level, is that more so than usual, some feelings were hurt, and some personal relationships were really damaged this session.
Interesting. Well, Patrick, as we go on special session watch, what are you going to be working on? What do you have in the works for TexasTribune.org in the next few days?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still waiting to see what the governor's going to decide. Again, no immediate signal that there's going to be an announcement today. One thing he was waiting for was for the budget to be certified. That happened last night, but he still wants to continue to go through bills on his desk. And so I think in the short term, we're going to be keeping an eye on which bills he's signing, especially some of these issues that he hadn't publicly weighed in on during the session, and maybe which bills he's vetoing. He seems to be kind of reveling in the pendulum of power kind of swinging back to him in this post-session period. So I think it's going to be all eyes on the governor at this point.
All right, Patrick, again, thanks for joining us during the session, and we'll visit with you down the road, okay?
Thanks so much, Chad.
All right, thank you. That's Patrick Svitek, TexasTribune.org.